obviously a tough one. When they made their separation in the second quarter, what do you feel like was kind of the difference?
Turnovers. I mean, I thought we took care of it until the end of the first quarter where Sarah lost it. Not a good way to go into a quarter, into the next quarter, but, we actually handled their traps early, got to easy shots, some layups, some open threes. Didn't make them all, but I thought we handled it. So they got out of it. They got out of their blitzing or their trapping. They went to ice, and our spacing wasn't good. We didn't do a good job at spacing the floor. We just didn't open them up and play through their hips. They were tougher than us, and it's the first time we've been punched like that. I mean, our other two losses were close. We were right there. Big environment here. Two fifth-year senior post players that were just tougher than us to begin with. They put a lot of veterans out there, whether they were transfers or otherwise, and I think they had 3 fifth-year players and there's 4 fifth-year players in their starting lineup with Pellington, Lavelle, Reese, and Martinez. So I think that was the difference maker. I think that what happened to them when KU went in there and smoked them, they have that feeling, that was left in their mouth. Now what we need to do is take the feeling that we have right now, because it wasn't a game where if we do one or two things, right, that we would have won the game. This is a game where, we got beat, we got beat today. I mean, and Pellington, who doesn't even shoot jump shots, was able to kind of get to the rim, and some of those were in transition, which is where she plays and plays really, really well. We just were really focused on getting 2 back, and the combination of missed open threes and turnovers, they just ran out on us. They were faster end to end than we were, and I don't think if you lined us up in a race, that they're all faster, but I thought they played faster. So I thought that was, especially in the second quarter, they got some runouts on us.
Coach, in terms of those turnovers, was there anything that they were doing, or was it just totally and utterly something?
No. I would tell you that Tennessee State, it was us. I would say this game, the physicality at the point of attack, the physicality on the ball, the physicality with their traps, the way they were bearing down, when we did a good job getting it out of the trap and then we're strong and made the extra pass, because obviously we had numbers once we got it out of the trap, we were fine. But when we were tentative at the point of attack, didn't try to play around them or make a quick decision, the more they ingested us, the tougher it was. And I think so it was them. Certainly I thought we fumbled and bumbled the ball, a few times, we tried to make interior passes. We tried to, and I would still say this is them. At the same time, it's us. It's what is our decision making when we get it out of the trap. There were times when I thought Caitlin had a simple skip pass and she tried to make the diagonal instead of the regular skip, and it gets tipped out of bounds. You make the right pass, now you're 2-on-1. And we're pretty good in those 2-on-1 situations. I do feel like at times they sped us up enough that we didn't do a great job in those 2-on-1 situations. I feel like when we played Michigan, we did a better job in those 2-on-1. The difference between Arizona and Michigan is they just put a little higher level athlete. Not necessarily that they're better than Michigan. They're both really, really good. But I feel like they close space faster when they're trying to what we call scramble out on an action. And so I thought they were really physical. I don't know how many times I looked down and Bugs and Bella were laying on the court, literally face down, and it was trying to get them up and back into the play. It's just kind of how the game was. So I think it was a combination. We've got to handle that action better when we know it's coming. And I take a lot of blame for that. I feel like we spent a lot of time the last couple days really, really focused defensively on what we needed to do to them. And we got bogged down a little bit in practice on certain actions that we were defending and trying to be good against certain actions, and didn't spend enough time offensively because we've been pretty solid offensively. And we felt like if we defended this team and took care of the ball, that we'd be pretty good in the half court. And I don't think we were. I mean, we really didn't take anything away from them. We didn't take the paint away. We didn't take the arc away. We let them walk into threes because they shoot 48% and 42% from the arc. We were purposely helping off their point guard, and then when they would kick it to the point guard, we were leaving a shooter to go play a kid that we were leaving for a reason, you know? And a couple of times, those were freshmen, you know, but like really understanding, like you got a 2-on-1, you stay home on the shooter and you make her make a jump shot because we're gonna recover to her. So, I mean, we made some bad decisions.
Start the third quarter. You were looking for, I guess you were looking for more of an effort than trying to get it all at one time.
For sure.
Just walk your way back into the game.
Yep, get it under 10. Like, get it at the end, you know, like I feel like, you know, we can be explosive enough offensively that if we just, you know, I told them in the locker room at halftime, it wasn't about necessarily like winning or losing. It was like, are we going to fight? Are we going to come out swinging in the third quarter? You know, really just looked like we were fighting. Like I felt like we got punched and we looked a little like, like the guy that's been hit and doesn't quite have a concussion. You're watching the boxing match and they're going over to the side and their trainer's like splashing water on their face and like trying to see if they've still got it. Like I felt like, you know, like I was trying to send them away from the corner at halftime and say, like, I threw some water on your face, like, we're okay, just fight, you know, like, I think we can get back into it, because I did. I really felt like we could get back into it. But, you know, we didn't shoot the basketball well. We did get some wide open shots. I think we missed, by my guess, probably 6 or 7, I'm talking uncontested layups. You know, Jamie missed one in transition. Erica missed one off the roll. Then Bugs had an offensive rebound and missed it. Bella missed an open layup. I mean, you know, when you're in those stretches where you're trying to mount a comeback and you blow layups and wide open threes, even when you miss, like, you get a technical and you don't go to the line and capitalize and make both of those. Like, when you don't take advantage of momentum opportunities, it makes it tough to keep clawing. You know, I think we'd put together a 4-0 run and had them late into the shot clock and fouled them, you know, like we'd really defended the possession well and fouled with like 3 on the clock, you know, those situations, which I know saying 4-0 run doesn't sound like much, but at that point when it's 14 and you're cutting it to 10, or it's 16, you're cutting it to 12, and one more stop and a bucket gets you back, like where you're like, yeah, this is like 3-4 possession game. And maybe makes them start, you know, thinking that it's not easy. You know, and I think we didn't quite get there because we didn't make enough shots to get there.
Nicki, was it a matchup thing, or like you mentioned, being a freshman, maybe the moment being too big, that Bugs only got like 12 minutes or something like that?
I thought she was getting manhandled early. I love that kid, and she's going to be a great player. She is a great player. But, you know, we had said for the last 3 days, points off turnovers and offensive rebounding. Like that was going to be, those were the differences. And, you know, I just felt like she got thrown out of the way like 2 times, like in the first couple minutes, you know, and so I went to AB, you know, to see if she could, you know, physically be a difference maker. And, you know, then I thought Bella's just stronger. Like she's just stronger, you know, and so it just wasn't a great matchup for her. And there's no one they bring in until they go small, which they didn't do much. They didn't go to 13 or 4, which they will at times at the 4, pretty consistently. Now, some of that is a little bit determined by some of the teams they're playing. where teams are playing 4 guards. And so it's, they pretty much stayed as much as they could with Martinez, Reese, Najee. And so all those guys are big and strong. But, as good and as dialed in as we were defensively against UTA, we were kind of the opposite today. Like we didn't get into our icing scheme like we did 47 times, I think, like against UTA. Like we just, when you get rattled, it's like you got to get them to not forget how to play, which sounds so, but they get so wrapped up in missing a shot or missing an assignment that the next time it's like now, I mean, I can count on my hand 3 or 4 possessions where you just went, what's going on? Like, they cut to the rim and we're standing at the arc and their players under the basket, and that was a big moment for Erica. It's a big moment for Kat. I think they're both capable of helping us. But I thought they looked scared, Jana came in and turned it over on her first possession. We just have to avoid those. We've definitely got to get more from our bench. And I think we would have had Asia, because we got what we usually get from Bella. But, we didn't really get anything else.
Yeah, Coach, just how important is the team's response to this? How much can that define the trajectory of the rest of the season?
It's everything. I told him, I'm like, look who Arizona was today. They got smacked by KU. I mean, and it was similar, like close early, KU took the lead in the locker room, and then the 3rd and 4th quarter was like a shellacking. We took that. Not in the 1st quarter, but the 2nd quarter, like, and look how they've responded. They responded and took it to us. So, we certainly last year lost to Michigan going into the break, and that didn't make for a very fun Christmas, especially trying to find an opponent. We were supposed to play Houston Baptist out of the break and had to find and search for a team to play because of COVID. Played North Texas. So, it's all about how we respond. But they also, it's really hard to sometimes look in the mirror, which is what coaches do all the time. The minute the game was over, I said, we didn't spend enough time working against traps. Maybe that's because our guys went home, but we got to be better. Like, I've got to be better and make sure that just because I've got 3 veteran guards, we got to work against the traps. Our posts need to know when to slip and where to go, and that's on me. So I'm looking in the mirror saying, I got a lot of opportunities to prove that I can coach this team better. And I think they have to look in the mirror and not say, wish you only played me this way, or I didn't get enough touches, or, like, if you're looking for excuses, you're never going to get better. But if you're looking for solutions, we're going to get a lot better. And I think we have a chance to get a lot better. So that was my message. I think we've got some kids that have struggled lately and really need this break. I mean, and I don't mean this break like 5 days at Christmas. I mean the winter break where they're not in class. Because when you have 8 players getting used to college life at Baylor, not just college life, some of them have been in college, but college life at Baylor and the academic expectations, and quite frankly, my expectations for them academically. Some people want their kids to get degrees. I want our kids to get degrees that they're going to go impact the world with. And so we're not going to let them miss class. And we're going to expect if they can get an A to get an A, and if they can get a B to get a B. So we don't make it easy. It's not about passing and being a basketball player. It's about being a student athlete. And so some of them have had a rough 6 weeks of making sure that they've finished the semester strong and have lived in the academic center and have heard it from me in the circle, what's acceptable and what's not. And so now's that stretch of 4 weeks where it's like, okay, you take the academic piece out and you say, now's when you better get in the gym. Because now you're not studying for a final. You're not doing extra credit. You're not working on a paper that you need to get a letter grade above where you're at. And I think our kids finished great in the classroom, but we had some mountains to climb for some of our kids. And so they need this. They need to get back in the gym and get a sweat, getting shots up, because when you get into the grind of the season, it's about scouting and game planning and knowing where you're supposed to be and the angles and the who you're defending and why you're defending them that way. And sometimes, as much as you try to get to the fundamentals, which we do with player development, we haven't been able to because of the academic piece lately. And so this is our chance to make sure that, there's no 20-hour rule. So, and we're never going to run them into the ground. I don't believe in that. But it's about getting them in and getting them to work on their game and get better individually so we can be better collectively.
Thanks, Coach.
Got it? Thanks, guys.
Jaden, obviously a tough one tonight. What do you feel like when they started to make their run in the second quarter? What do y'all feel like kind of got away from?
We just didn't punch back. We got punched and we laid back. In my opinion, Coach mentioned that after the game, we got to find some type of fight. I think that's really it. A lot of their points at the beginning of the half came off of our turnovers. A lot of their points just came off of our mistakes. So I think it's realizing that and adjusting and then not letting them go on a run and bounce back.
Sarah, what is more frustrating, missed shots or the turnover?
I think, both, honestly. I think you get mad when you miss a shot, but I think when you turn it over and they get 2 points, you get even madder. So sometimes it's just a lose-lose and got to get out of your head sometimes, honestly.
Sarah, is that tough? I mean, 19 turnovers. They had 25 points off 19 turnovers. I think a 23-point difference in the turnovers. Particularly with a guard lineup, is that frustrating to turn it over that many times?
Oh, for sure, because we're more than capable of handling the ball. I mean, I'll take our guards over anybody any day. It was just an off night. We turned the ball over, and they capitalized off of it. But like I said, we're more than capable of handling the ball.
Jaden, I think it was in the third quarter, you got a little scoop shot, and then maybe got a steal and another bucket, and got it to within, 12 or something like that. At that point, are you feeling like, all right, our run is coming?
I'm not going to lie. I felt like every possession we could have the start of a run. You know what I'm saying? Coach Nicki started off by saying, just chip at it. Each time, every play you take is not going to be, okay, we just got up even now. You know what I'm saying? We're going to slowly have to chip away. So, I don't know, I kind of thought about it every time we're coming down the floor, we're playing defense on them, or we're getting a stop. Every time is a time to get back.
Yeah, both of you guys are shooters. We'll start with Jaden. When you go through those streaks where it just feels like no basketball will go through, how do you kind of hit the reset and start making them again?
Play defense, get the easy shots. I think that just goes for almost anybody. We can't control a shot not falling. We all know we get in the gym. I know Sic'Em gonna be in the gym as soon as we get home. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. It's controlling the controllables. If my shot's not falling, if Say's shot not falling, if anybody's shot's not falling, okay, we're gonna control on the defensive end, stop them from getting a bucket so we can get an easy bucket, an easy lay, or get to the free throw line.
Jaden, do you feel like it was something they were doing defensively that caused you guys to turn the ball over so much, or was it more self-inflicted?
No, it was us. I really feel like it was just us. A lot of our turnovers weren't forced by them. It was just simply us making a mistake or trying to make a home run pass or just something like that, and not just saying compose. I feel like, yeah, they sped us up a little bit, but at the same time, I think the guards, we adjusted. We just didn't take care of the ball.
Yeah, Sarah, one of those turnovers, I think was at the end of the first quarter, you slipped down at midcourt and
It was a sticker.
yeah, Pellington gets a steal. Do you ever, when stuff like that happens, is it hard not to think it's just not our day, or?
I was like, hey, I slipped. It happens. It's basketball. Stuff happens. I got to move on. We got 3 more quarters to play after that. So I thought I slipped. I was like, second quarter now, it's time to move on.
In terms of, for either of y'all, developing that fight that you talked about, Jake, where does that come from? Is that just practice?
It's the want to win. I don't really feel like it's anything else. If you have that dog in you because you don't want what just happened to us to happen, you're not going to let it happen again.
Else? Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.